Okay, the topic is SAP Business Suite for SAP HANA. That means we called as SAP Business Suite for SAP HANA, or we called as SAP Business Suite for SAP S4HANA. That means SAP Business Suite for SAP HANA. We call like that, or otherwise we call like SAP Business Suite for SAP S4HANA. We call like that also. So what is this SAP Business Suite for SAP S4HANA? We want to know that one. So by seeing this figure, we want to understand. They're telling this is one system. This system is called as SAP Front-End Server. Okay. Now here we want to know about SAP Front-End Server. Okay. In that SAP Front-End Server, they installed NetWeaver ABAP 7.52. Which databases we use? SAP MaxDB or SAP AC or SAP HANA. In these three databases, we use any database and install NetWeaver ABAP 7.52 in that system. That system is called as SAP Front-End Server. Okay, here we saw. Here SAP S4HANA. This is SAP S4HANA system. So now here I install NetWeaver ABAP 7.52. Here in this system, I install NetWeaver ABAP 7.52 by using, for example, MaxDB database. Compulsory, we want to use these three databases. In these three databases only, we want to use any database. Okay. Here now this system is called as SAP Front-End Server. This system is called as SAP Front-End Server. Here clearly we saw this system is SAP S4HANA Server. In this system, I installed SAP S4HANA. This system is called as SAP Front-End Server. In this system, I installed NetWeaver ABAP 7.52 by using SAP MaxDB database. Okay. Now, okay. One system, Front-End Server. Another system is SAP S4HANA Server. So another system is SAP S4HANA Server. Already you know, by using SAP S4HANA 2021 or 2022 or 2023 or 2025, we want to install SAP S4HANA Server system. So HANA database only. SAP HANA DB only supported. SAP HANA DB only supported. Okay, SAP HANA database only supported. Okay. So you got it clearly how to build SAP S4HANA Server and how to build SAP Front-End Server. Now here, SAP Front-End Server is there. Like that, SAP S4HANA Server also is there. This is SAP S4HANA Server 2025 system. By using SAP S4HANA 2025, I install this SAP S4HANA Server 2025 system HANA database. No other databases is not supported. Now here S4X is there, no? This is SAP S4HANA Server system. NWX is there, no? This is Front-End Server system. Okay, got it. About two systems, we got it. Now, functional modules is there. Functional modules is there. Who are functional modules? FI, CO, SD, MM, PP, UM, like that functional models is there. Okay, now these functional models want to work on SAP S4HANA Server system. In company, these functional models log on to the SAP S4HANA Server and they want to do their work. Here we saw. This is SAP S4HANA Server. This is Front-End Server. Okay. So that functional models in company, that functional models have no rights directly to access to the SAP S4HANA Server. In company, that functional models have no rights to directly access to the SAP S/4HANA server. They give access to SAP front-end server. For functional models, they give access to the SAP front-end server. So they connected to this front-end server. For example, I am the sales and distribution employee. I am the SD person. So I want to connect to the SAP S/4HANA server. I want to do my work. But company, what they do, they don't give direct access to SAP S/4HANA server. Here they provided front-end server. In front-end server, SAP logon is there. I double click SAP logon. Here I double click this one. And I connected to the SAP S/4HANA server. Now I connected to the SAP S/4HANA server. Here we saw I connected to the SAP S/4HANA server. SAP S/4HANA 2025. But they provided access to front-end server. In front-end server, SAP logon is there. By using this SAP logon in front-end server, SAP logon is there. By using this SAP logon, I connected to the SAP S/4HANA server. That means what we want to understand in company, these functional users have no rights to access directly to the front-end server, as SAP S/4HANA server. They give access to front-end server. So after connecting to the front-end server, in front-end server, SAP logon is there. By using that SAP logon, they want to connect to the SAP S/4HANA server and they do their work. That means now I'm the SD person. They give access to front-end server. Here I got front-end server screen only. By using this front-end server, I open SAP S/4HANA server and I'm doing my work. Like that, they connect. So like that, functional model users, they connect like that. Now I'm the technical basis, technical models is there. Technical models means basis person, security person, ABAP person also. So like the technical model is there. For example, I'm the basis person. Now I want to connect to the SAP S/4HANA server. For example, in SAP S/4HANA server, some issue is there. I want to connect to the SAP S/4HANA server. Means what I want to do, I don't want to connect to front-end server. I don't want to come here. I don't want to connect to front-end server. How I connect to SAP S/4HANA server? Directly in company laptop, SAP logon is there. I double click that SAP logon. In company laptop, SAP logon is there. I double click that SAP logon and I double click that S/4HANA entry. So here I enter the credentials. Now I got it. So that means I did not log into the front-end server. Just simply in my company laptop, SAP logon is there. I open that SAP logon. By using credentials, I connected to the SAP S/4HANA server system. Same system. So that before I log in, by using front-end server, before I log in, same system I connected here. That means technical models connect to the SAP S/4HANA server system like this. But functional models connect to they give permission to access to the front-end server. In front-end server, by using SAP logon, they connect to the SAP S/4HANA server and they do what? That means that functional models have no rights directly to access to the SAP S/4HANA server. That one only in image they showing. SD, MM, FICO, app, this one. These functional users have no rights to directly access to the SAP S/4HANA server. These functional users have rights to SAP front-end server. So by using SAP front-end server, they connect to the SAP S/4HANA server. These two systems is called as SAP Business Suite for SAP S/4HANA. In company front-end server, compulsory they maintain. In company front-end server, they maintain. In that front-end server, they install NetWeaver AS ABAP 7.52 software. So only these three databases only supported. So we want to build SAP front-end server for SAP S/4HANA. We want to build SAP front-end server for SAP S/4HANA means compulsory. This product version only we want to install. Compulsory, we want to use this databases only. In these three databases, we want to use any database. Like that, we want to build SAP front-end server for SAP S/4HANA. Now, these two systems, this SAP front-end server system and this SAP S/4HANA server system, these two systems is called as SAP Business Suite for SAP HANA or SAP S/4HANA. Here you are learning how functional models connected to the SAP S/4HANA server system, how technical models connect to the SAP S/4HANA server system. That information here I am telling clearly. So functional models connect to SAP S/4HANA server system by using front-end server. Technical models connect to the SAP S/4HANA server system directly by using SAP logon only. That's the difference. So these two systems is called as SAP Business Suite for SAP HANA, or we called as SAP Business Suite for SAP S/4HANA. So in company system we see means we got SAP front-end server here product. ASAP for SAP S/4HANA front-end. So these are all front-end server systems. These are all front-end server systems. Here we saw NetWeaver ASAP 7.52. 7.52. Okay, we use that one only. We use for front-end server that one only. So in Linux OS it is installed. So here you are learning what is SAP Business Suite for SAP S/4HANA means these two systems is called as SAP Business Suite for SAP S/4HANA. Here you are learning what is SAP front-end server. What is SAP front-end server for SAP HANA? SAP front-end server for SAP HANA, which product version they install, which databases is available for installing, what is SAP S/4HANA server, which product version they use to install SAP S/4HANA server, which database is available, how functional models connect to the SAP S/4HANA server, how technical models connect to the SAP S/4HANA server. That's here clearly we learn. That is the topic about that SAP Business Suite for SAP S/4HANA server. SAP Business Suite for SAP S/4HANA or SAP Business Suite for SAP HANA. So that topic is completed clearly. Compulsory every basis administrator who are learning SAP basis course, compulsory they want to learn this topic. Very, very important. So this topic is completed.